Hello and welcome into this week's edition of the Rookie Stripes podcast here on Racing News Now. I'm Garth. That is the Cubs super fan. How's it going?
New truck today.
Today? You're getting it today?
Today, just got at the dealership. They just texted me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler's having a good day today.
I'm having an expensive day today.
Well, expensive and good can be the same thing. Not always, but
They can coexist.
Yes.
But
Either way.
it's May. We've got cars on track at IMS this weekend, and then we go to the Big Oval next week.
Well, no. Hold on. You got to tell us what kind of a truck you're getting.
What kind of a truck?
The people want to know.
The people. Okay.
That's right.
All three people. Anyway, new 2024 Colorado Trail Boss.
Nice. Brand new or new to you?
Brand new. It just rolled into the shop.
What color?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be the gray one.
Like you just telling me you were going to get a blue one?
I want the blue one, but they just got the silverish one. And if they can't find a blue one, then silver it is.
Okay. Well, nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're all very happy for you.
Yay, woo. We get the clap sound in the background, please.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have that pulled up. I was not prepared for that. Hang on. Here we go.
Thank you. My pleasure.
There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, so, yes. Had some Kansas action this weekend. Had some Miami action. Ya boy, might as well call me Nostradamus, or I guess Garthstradamus. Every single winner from Kansas picked correctly.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Who said any? Wasn't I saying I was going to have to consult a Magic 8 Ball from now on? Why do I need a Magic 8 Ball? The Magic 8 Ball is up here in my head.
Right. The Magic 8 Ball that's right once every 36 weeks.
Oh, you calm down there.
I am.
Doesn't matter if I'm actually fully right every week, given that I'm leading you in like everything but one series.
Leading what, like IndyCar and
in trucks? Yeah, you're still leading trucks, even though I got the winner. Yeah.
I got one in the turn left series.
That's right.
Yay.
But overall, let's start with F1, because F1 was interesting this weekend. The Miami Grand Prix, not a Max win. Shocker, I know.
And not only was it not a Max win, somebody drove away from Max in the last half of the race.
Makes me wonder if this was a fluke or if McLaren might actually be challenging Red Bull for the rest of the season.
Okay, so there's theories both ways. Lando did pick up his pace in the middle of the race right before his safety car and was faster than Verstappen. However, Verstappen did go off track and bottomed the car out over one of like the pole things.
Oh, when he ran over that cone?
It bottomed the car out and took like a quarter inch off of the floor. And I guess Red Bull thinks that cost him like a 10.5 per lap, which it doesn't translate to the 9 seconds that Lando won by, but it is, you know how F1 drivers are with like weird stuff like that. So
did you see his he was doing Max was doing an interview after, and somebody asked him about the cone, and they asked him what happened there, and he's like, I didn't like it, so I took it out. I was doing a crash test to make sure the front wing could handle it, and it did well, and I just took it out so nobody else had to deal with it there, and it was just a free-for-all in that corner after that.
That's what NASCAR needs to do, put the little cones at the apex of corner. Did you see how they castrated Watkins Glen this year?
No.
They put new curbs up around Watkins Glen.
Really?
Yep. They redid like the whole track.
Interesting.
The bus stop
cars were already flying off the curbs as is.
The bus stop looks unrecognizable.
Really?
It's terrible.
I'll have to look that up.
It might not be awful when they race on it, but it's definitely not what it like. I think it's big sausage curbs now.
The funny thing about that is, like, the Cup cars were literally getting air off those curbs in the first place. Like, they would go into the bus stop and they'd literally have two wheels up in the air. So
yeah,
I can only imagine what's going to happen now. So when you say sausage curbs, are we talking like the curbs that they use at the Roval?
Similar, I think.
Okay. That could be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know. we'll see
I
how
guess
it
we'll
goes,
find
I
out. I
guess.
mean, we've got a few extra months to find out this year since they bumped it back into the playoffs, but um,
Yeah, Martinsville playoffs. Woo woo.
yeah.
They're not
Um,
Martinsville. Watkins. Why did I say
oh,
Martinsville?
I don't know.
I am
I was
tired as
rolling
hell.
with it though because I knew what you meant, and I hoped everybody watching knew what you meant.
You know, if you turn the M in Martinsville upside down, then it's like Whartonsville, which is
Whartonsville.
pretty close to Watkins Glen. I mean, come on.
Okay.
Girl math.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, Tyler and his girl math.
Don't hurt me, please.
Don't worry, the girl math will do that to you,
That hurts my wallet.
right? I'm sure it does. Um, but either way, good to see Lando finally pick up a win. Congratulations, Lando Norris. Um, you know what's funny is one of our regular viewers on here, his online persona is Lando Norris. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, want to give a congratulations to him since we have Lando Norris watching. Uh, so, very cool there. But overall, though, I didn't feel like Miami was that great of a race. It was just cool that it wasn't a max win.
Yeah, I mean, it was an okay race. That's probably about the best you're going to get from F1 right now. It
Hmm.
just kind of sucks that you can't really pass anybody without DRS. And even if you do, then you get like the Piastri thing where he's just forcing everybody off track, which ever since Verstappen started doing that, that's just become how you pass people in F1, which is kind of ridiculous and goes against every other form of motorsports, like passing rules and regulations. But sure, I
Well,
guess.
this is he, and it's weird because like I don't understand how that is an acceptable form of passing there, but like they make the slightest bit of contact, and all of a sudden the stewards are up in arms and doing investigations and everything. But like you can shove someone wide, but as long as you don't make contact, it's all good.
Yeah, you can drive them straight off the track, all four wheels, and
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's fine. You didn't hit them, but then you
Yeah,
hit them, and it's then a problem. Yeah, I don't.
yeah. I'm
Oh well.
curious to see, with all the rumors we've got floating around, what next year F1 is going to look like because it's starting to sound more and more like Max may not be at Red Bull next year. And then
Yeah,
you've got Adrian Newey not coming back to Red Bull. So will Red Bull be as dominant as they have been with or without Max? And where does he end up? Wherever he ends up, will they just become the new Red Bull or will the field just become more competitive while he figures out whatever new car he's with?
I think he's going to end up going to Mercedes, and if I understand Adrian Newey's press conference correctly, he doesn't want to do F1 anymore.
See, that's what I had heard too. Now, I'm not sure about the Mercedes thing because everything I had seen was pointing toward him going to Ferrari.
No, Verstappen.
No, 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 Newey. Oh,
Oh,
you were talking about Verstappen.
yeah, Verstappen going to Mercedes.
Okay, yes, that's what everything seems to be leaning toward is Verstappen going to Mercedes.
Yeah,
Adrian Newey though seems like he might be going to Ferrari.
which
Um,
I still don't understand how that's going to work because the way he said stuff made it seem to me he doesn't want to do F1 at all.
mhm.
And every media outlet is like, oh boy, which F1 teams are you going to go to next? Like, there's other things to do in the universe other than F1, right?
Well, see the thing about Ferrari is, and it may have been a total um, misdirect, but somebody asked Lewis uh, if he thought they were going to have Adrian Newey next year at Ferrari, and Lewis's response was just "We'll see" with a big smile, like he knew something.
Yeah, I mean, somebody always knows something in
Yeah,
F1. It's just, you know, it is what it is. It's F1. It's kind of ridiculous all the time. So,
yeah. But I do find that interesting. With as much as it seems like everybody is going to move around next year, what the actual competition is going to look like next year. Are we actually going to have a competitive F1 field next year?
no. I mean, when's the last time we did have a competitive F1 field? Like,
Pre Mercedes dominance,
yeah,
wasn't it?
even pre that, like, you got to think, I mean, you had Red Bull. Mercedes, Red Bull again. Before that, it was Ferrari for a while. I mean, you got
So
to
what you're
look at
saying is
like
there's always one team that rises to the top no matter what.
the late 2000s to find where you had two teams going for title fights, and it was Ferrari and McLaren.
I think the difference though is even pre-current Red Bull dominance, when Mercedes was at their peak with Lewis, they weren't as dominating as what Red Bull is right now. They weren't winning all but like one or two races every season. There was
Right.
still other guys sneaking in for wins here and there. Like it was still halfway competitive. It wasn't a sure bet that Lewis was going to win every single race.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference. I don't expect us to all of a sudden go into next year and Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, and McLaren are all on the same level and like it's just a free for all which one of them wins each race. But I do expect one of those teams to be above the rest. But my hope is that it gets back closer to what we had pre Red Bull dominance in the Mercedes Lewis dominating days, where yes, they were the best team, and Lewis was definitely the number one driver there, but it wasn't all Mercedes and all Lewis every week.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be more competitive, but now, I mean, with how Verstappen has been the past couple of years, it's just nobody's going to catch up to him once he gets in the lead, which is probably kind of a problem with these cars in general. Even though they've gone towards the new regulations with wings and aerodynamics to try to make it so you can follow people, you just can't. There's no way. These cars are too big. They punch too big of a hole in the air. The tracks are too small for these cars. So by the time you get behind somebody, all they got to do is hold the apex, and then you block the only line that you can take through the corner, and then you're 7 tenths behind them coming out of the turn. There's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, you say that about Max, but I wonder, you put him in a Red Bull or in a Mercedes next year that's not 10 seconds faster than the field like the current Red Bull is. I don't know that he would be as dominant as he has been. I don't know. I mean, he'll probably win some races if the Mercedes is fast enough to win, but I just I I don't know that he would win the championship.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I don't know.
it's I am very curious to see what happens with F1 next year. We might actually have a halfway interesting F1 season next year. And we
I
may
mean,
even
the
for the
end of
rest of
this
this year,
season, yeah, the
huh?
end of this season might be pretty good because if McLaren can keep doing what they were doing this
Mhm.
week, I mean, Piastri was honestly going for Verstappen before the safety car,
Mhm.
and I mean, if you can get McLaren doing that, and then all the upgrades Ferrari's promising, you got three teams that could challenge for wins, poles, stuff like that. You just got to get Verstappen to stop sailing off in the distance by miles.
Mhm. Yeah, that's the biggest thing, and that's exactly what I was about to say was, if McLaren can do what they did in Miami for the rest of the season and actually give Red Bull a run, we could have an interesting finish to the season. And it may not be a foregone conclusion that Max wins the championship just yet. That would be nice to see.
I, honestly, I think that is still a foregone conclusion that he'll win the championship. It's just kind of a by how much and with how many races left.
Well, it may be a foregone conclusion, but it may not be a foregone conclusion that Red Bull wins the constructors championship.
That one I could see just because, I mean, even this weekend you had Verstappen and then both McLarens and both Ferraris between him and Perez
Hmm.
most of the race.
Yeah, because Perez ended up in what, sixth?
Something like that,
I
yeah.
think it was sixth. Yeah. Well, and it might have even been seventh. I think he might have had Piastri in front of him too.
Piastri finished like 13th or something.
Oh, that's right. He ended up way in the back at the end for some reason, didn't he?
I think he was in front of Perez most of the race, but then, yeah,
Yeah. Either way, yes, could shape up to be an interesting into the season and next year as well. On to Kansas. Not a lot of good racing this weekend until Sunday. Arca was not the greatest. Tanner Gray dominated most of the race. And then late in the race, Connor Mozak came up, gave him a challenge on a late restart, took the lead, and basically air blocked his way to the win. Now, my biggest gripe with ARCA is not with the race itself and how not interesting the race was. It was when the race did get halfway interesting at the end, what the hell was the booth paying attention to? Jamie Little, Phil Parsons, and was it Ryan Blaney in the booth? I don't remember who the third person in the
Couldn't
booth
have been
was.
Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney's good.
Yeah, right? I don't remember who the third person was, but
Don't
whoever
put this
was in
on
the
Blaney.
booth. Yeah. In the final, like 10 or 15 laps, whatever it was, where Mozak was in the lead and Tanner Gray is trying to run him back down. Tanner Gray was super loose. Every single lap off of turn 4, he was sideways and almost in the wall, almost losing it every single lap.
Yep.
Did the booth make any mention of that whatsoever? No. Not a single word about it. I don't even think they realized it, even after they had a report from Josh Sims on pit road where he literally said Tanner Gray is very loose right now and blah, 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 whatever Josh Sims said at that point. I said he was loose. Even after that point, are they paying attention to the fact that he's almost wrecking off of turn 4 every lap? No, they're not. What are they paying attention to? Kids in the infield, somebody on a grilling hot dogs. Are we paying attention to the fact that Tanner Gray is doing everything he can to win this race and track Connor Mozak back down and almost wrecking in the process? No, we're not. Because
Why
the
would we
ARCA
look at that?
sucks.
Why would we look at that?
Well, no, why would we look at that? Why would we look at the actual race when we can just comment on the fact that Connor Mozak is driving away, or not really driving away, but let's say he's driving away, then we'll look down at kids in the infield or random people, the random 3 people that are in the stands or whatever. Let's
We got to
not
show how
pay
many people
attention
are
to the
enjoying
guy that's
ARCA.
actually trying to challenge Connor Mozak for the win. No, why would we do that?
We got to look at all the people that are enjoying ARCA instead of actually enjoying ARCA ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, it's a great day at the ballpark.
Yeah, that broadcast pissed me off so much that
It's like the truck broadcast, but somehow worse and less Daniel Dye.
Exactly. That broadcast made me so pissed off that I'm not sure I ever want to watch a ARCA broadcast with the sound turned on ever again.
I mean,
get Jamie Little out of the booth. She's a great pit reporter. She cannot do play-by-play.
Yeah.
Get Phil Parsons out of the booth. He doesn't care. Like, is he fairly knowledgeable? Yes. He's not good in the booth, though. Get him out of the booth. Put people in that ARCA booth that actually care and know what they're doing.
No.
I mean, put Adam Alexander in that booth. I don't know if Adam Alexander wants to do it, but he's been doing Xfinity and trucks. Put him in that booth. He at least knows what he's doing. Would you rather have Jamie Little?
I choose life.
Would you rather have Vince Welch?
Yes.
Really?
Then Jamie Little, yes.
No, I'm saying over Adam Alexander.
I don't know. As long as Adam Alexander's not going, hey, race fans, thanks for watching our video.
Well, this isn't a YouTube video, so I don't think he would be.
Shoot.
I'll get off my soapbox now, but I am so tired of absolute trash broadcasts for ARCA. Like, at least put somebody in the booth that can make it interesting to watch a race where the 18 car drives away by 10 seconds for most of it. And can we at least put someone on the production side that won't look at kids and grills every 5 minutes? Either way, I'm off my soapbox. I'm sure I'm going to get some hate from ARCA, because I always do for anything negative I ever say about ARCA, but bring it on, I guess. I don't care anymore. On to trucks.
Yeah, ARCA.
Yeah. Yay, ARCA. ARCA used to be good.
All right, Grandpa, let's get you to bed.
Back in my day, ARCA was actually entertaining.
Back in 1962.
Not even that far back. Back in 2018.
That might as well be 1962 at this point.
Right? And
how it
even
feels.
2019 wasn't that bad. Like, yes, it was Venturini domination, but you at least had the battle between Eckes and Michael Self. Like, that was an interesting battle. They literally went right down to the wire with that one for the championship. So yes,
2018, don't you mean
most of the season.
1984?
Do what?
2018, don't you mean 1984?
Yeah, right. Um, but really, ever since 2018, 2019, there has not been hardly anything. Just Arca has not been Arca.
Yeah.
Either way, yes, get Grandpa back to bed. Let's talk about trucks. Not much happening there either. Corey Heim dominated a lot of it and came home with the win. Christian Eck is fast. Zane Smith fast. I don't know what Doc's doing in the background, but it sounds like he's making a mess that I'm going to have to deal with after this. Not a whole lot to talk about in trucks, though, other than Ty Majeski still sucks.
Ty Majeski does suck.
He does. But yeah, I don't have anything else to talk about with trucks. Like, that's it. There really wasn't any talking points in this race. Thank you, Corey, for winning. Congratulations for making me 2 for 2 on the weekend at that point. On to Cup then, which actually was an extremely good race. I love this race start to finish. There was racing throughout the pack. Fox actually kind of showed the racing all through the pack most of the race, which they've not done a good job of in recent years. Still a lot of commercials that need cleaned up, but at least they're not just focusing on the leader for the whole race. So they're kind of making improvements. And I feel bad for Mike Joy, Kevin Harvick, and Clint Boyer because, like, those three actually are a decent booth, and it just gets overshadowed by the terrible production quality of these broadcasts. Like, I even saw, I think it was Matt Tift, I saw put a video on social media yesterday or the day before or something where he was talking about how good and insightful the booth was, and the production quality was just terrible, and it was ruining the broadcast and making it unwatchable. And he was comparing it to F1, where it wasn't that exciting a race, but the broadcast itself was actually exciting because you could tell the guys in the booth were actually cared about the sport and were excited about it, and F1's commercial free. So that's a leg up too. So there's definitely some things that NASCAR needs to, or that Fox specifically needs to address, and maybe NASCAR needs to step in and go, hey, you need to broadcast our races better because this is getting ridiculous. I don't know what has changed in the past 10, 15, 20 years with Fox, but this is not the Fox of the mid 2000s. Fox in the mid 2000s was primo with NASCAR broadcasts. You go back and watch any Fox broadcast from mid 2000s, and they were fantastic. Now, not even close. The booth is good. The rest of the show needs some working on, and I'm concerned that that's never going to get fixed at this point because it's been like that for a while. But either way, very good, exciting race, start to finish for the Cup Series. I was very, very proud of this race and excited to see a good race. Jimmy Johnson was actually fast in this race. I mean, he was like top 15 for a lot of the race before he got caught up in that wreck, which for post like 2017 Jimmy Johnson, that's pretty good. He was actually carrying the banner for Legacy Motor Club most of the day till he got wrecked.
Shocking.
I mean, we all know Corey Heim's good, but it's only his second Cup start, so you can't expect Corey Heim to be outrunning the 7-time champ. But
yeah, right.
And I mean, John Hunter's the other car. I mean, what more do you have to say than John Hunter? Either way, though, let's analyze that finish because the finish is going down in the history books. I don't think we're ever going to see a closer finish than .001. Is it possible? Yes. And actually, it was funny because NASCAR posted because everybody was asking what the procedure would have been if they had legitimately tied, if it had been 0.000. Apparently, um, the tiebreaker would have been who led the most laps. After that, if they had led if they'd led the same amount of laps, it would have gone to who spent the most laps in second. And then they would keep going down positions from that point if it was the same. So if they spent the same amount of laps in second, who spent the same amount of or who spent more laps in third? Yeah. Um, very, very cool though. I mean, what is this season though? Like that's between Cup and Xfinity, that is 3 finishes of 3 thousandths of a second or less already, and we've only gone what 12 weeks into the season. Like, what is 2024?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty close. My only gripe is all of these close finishes that we've had are because of the late race restart that goes into overtime.
Yes, that's the like. Can you really complain about that though? Because I mean, we complained about overtime finishes in every race, but like if they produce a good finish, they produce a good finish. It's when they
Yeah, I
don't
just
produce a good finish that it gets annoying.
I guess Kansas is an exception because the whole race was pretty good.
Hmm.
But I hate when you have a race that's completely forgettable until the last like 2 laps, and then you get a restart, and then this happens. Which I guess I can't complain too much because I mean it is pretty cool to watch. But I just want like the 2010s era of like Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson sliding around Atlanta for the last 20 laps of the race.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. And then late race restarts. I mean, it's really going with the whole theme of the championship now in NASCAR of you can do whatever you want the entire season, but it doesn't matter until the round of 4. And it's the same way with racing now where it doesn't matter what you do the entire race as long as you're in the like, top 10 and there's a late race restart, you got a shot.
I mean, yes.
I mean, you see my point. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not dead set in stone thinking that, but it's kind of like I don't know. Somebody leads 3/4 of the race, late race restart, they get wrecked on turn 1, and then it's like, why did we even bother showing up to the race?
But I mean, that's not like a new phenomenon. Is it more common now? Yes, but I mean, it's not as if late race restarts didn't exist 10, 20 years ago. They weren't
No,
as common, but sure, they were a thing. And the guy that had led every lap up to that point might have lost the race on those late race restarts. Is it fair to them that they dominated the race? No, but I don't know that it's fair just because it's more common now to have a late race restart and it's easier to have a late race restart because we have overtime now versus the time before we had overtime. I don't know that it's fair to say late race restarts bad just because they're more common now.
yeah, I mean, I don't think they're bad per se. It's just kind of it gets old, you know.
Hmm.
It loses its luster, I guess.
I understand that. And that's the thing though. I don't know how you fix that at this point because
You don't, because this is what NASCAR's been pushing for
right. I mean, they're
years.
not going
It's
to
like
get rid of
this little
overtime at this
instant,
point.
like they're wanting Game 7 moments in every lap of every
Yeah.
race of every season, and it's like, I mean, if every race was this in Atlanta, where it's like that close, eh, then you have one that isn't like that, and you're like, wow, this is freaking terrible. Why are we even watching this? Like, it just, I like interesting things to be interesting because they're rare.
Hmm. Well, and that's the thing, and I do agree that while these finishes are great, I don't necessarily want too many of them this year because it. And I've said this before. Great races lose their luster when every race is great because you've got to constantly keep raising that bar because when every race is great that becomes the norm. So it's not great anymore. It's now the norm.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, if they're if they're there, like you've got to have them there. Like you can't go how we have the past few years when 95% of the races were just bad.
Right.
Um, so as long as you sprinkle in a few great races like this here and there, like I mean, I think we're on track to be fine with that. Like as long as every race doesn't turn into this, but like if we go with the same ratio the rest of the season, or if we never have another great finish like this the rest of the season, I think we can still call this a great season. And the great races have not lost their luster. Um, because you have to have those great races alongside the bad races. The bad races have to exist as well. Otherwise, the great races aren't great. I feel
No,
like I
I
talked in
totally
circles
agree.
there a little bit, but hopefully I made sense.
You definitely talked circles, but I mean, I get what you're saying. It makes sense. It's just one of those things. It's like, whatever.
Yeah. Um, Either way, though, great finish. Like I don't know that there's too much to say on that other than stop whining about the start finish line. I get it. The start finish line was not straight, but when it's all said and done, they don't use the actual painted start finish line anymore. It's 2024. We have technology. There is a digital line on a camera that precisely shows them who won the race rather
The
than
amount of people that don't know that and are
Mhm.
freaking out over the painted line being squiggly, like, I, what'd you think? We were like hoping that somebody in the crowd would take a picture at the right time, and be like, "Oh, we won!" Like
Right.
we're better than that. They know exactly where the cars are at all times. They can use transponders. They can do all this other kind of stuff. It, it's not.
Right.
Come on.
I mean, does the line look a little tacky? Sure. If you look real close at it, yes. But from a distance, how often are you going to be looking that close at it and even realize that it's not straight? Like it was close enough to straight that, like, if you're even standing, I don't know, 20 feet from it, you're not even going to realize it's straight. It just looks like a start finish line. So
Right.
it this isn't 1984. We're not using the actual start finish line painted on the track to determine the winner anymore. We're using the digital line in the camera to be precise. We have the technology,
What do you think this is? 1785.
right? Like, I feel like that's what some fans think it still is, but or they want it to still be. But
Back in my day, we used a painted line. It was straight, and we didn't have bow walls.
yep, exactly. Either way, though, the painted line on the track is basically just for tradition at this point. It's for you at the track to be able to see where the start finish line is. It's not to actually fully 100% determine the winner. That's what we have technology for. Technology's great. We used it and determined that Kyle Larson was the winner. And the thing is, with the way that start finish line was painted, it wouldn't have mattered if they used it because either way, no matter which part of that uneven line that they used, Larson was ahead.
Yeah.
So I don't even know why we're having debates about this because it didn't matter. Larson wins no matter what.
Right.
And I'm tired of everybody going, well, he door slammed Busher coming down into the front stretch. That was dirty. He doesn't deserve that win. Is this your first day watching NASCAR?
I mean,
They
I didn't
beat
really
and they
like that
bang a
either.
little bit. Like nobody would have said a word about that if it was Earnhardt.
I don't really like that either, regardless of who the driver. I guess that's my open wheel driving
Yeah.
coming in. Like, I don't want to see you come down and smack the door off of somebody else's car coming to the checkered flag. But I mean, it's NASCAR. If you're surprised that that happened in NASCAR, where have you been for the last literally 50
Right.
years?
Like, and that's the thing. It's not against the rules. It's literally a part of NASCAR. Like
Yeah.
the only the only way that becomes an issue is if he like straight up right rears Busher into the wall coming into the trioval. That's the
Yeah.
only way that becomes an issue. Otherwise, it's NASCAR. This is what NASCAR is. if you don't realize this is what NASCAR is, you clearly haven't been a fan for very long.
Right.
Like, this is what NASCAR is. This is how things are done with fenders. Like, you do what you got to do coming to the line to win, aside from fully wrecking the guy. And sometimes they actually do fully wreck the guy, for better or worse. But either way, that's NASCAR. Deal with it.
Pretty much.
Don't come in here. Don't change my. Don't F1 my NASCAR.
I'll F1 your whatever the hell I want to.
Oh, is that right?
No, I won't.
Either way, I digress. I think that's all I got for Cup, though. You got anything open wheel to talk about this week?
Not really. We kind of covered F1. IndyCar's back on. Well, back at IMS this week. We're doing the turn right version, and then we're doing the turn left version the next couple of weeks. I hate this road course so much. I love the fact that it exists because I can go watch IndyCars on road courses at a location close to home. However, you got a whole golf course in there, and you made a completely flat racetrack.
I mean, it's not completely flat. They do race on partially on the oval.
Okay, they come into the banking on the short shoot and then go back down onto the road course. I mean, it banks like 2 degrees.
I mean, okay, so it's not completely flat.
If I squiggle in the seat a little bit, then I'm on the banking. Like, I don't know. I mean, it is cool to be able to watch them in person on a road course. I wish it was a different road course, but
that's the thing, though. Like, I don't know how else they're supposed to. Like, I don't know how they're supposed to add banking to that. That's how any roval is. That's how the Charlotte roval is. They're not on banking unless they're on the oval.
Well, I don't want banking. I just want, like, hills, undulation type stuff. Like, not straight, flat racetrack.
That's just not how rovals are built, though. There's no hills and undulations at the roval.
I never said I liked any roval.
Huh?
I never said I liked any roval.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just saying, like, I don't think there's any roval that has any kind of elevation change to it other than getting out on the banking on the oval part.
Even Charlotte's got a fair amount.
I don't think it does.
Yeah, it does. Have you watched them come out through turn 1 and then go over the little hill right there, and then back where they keep hitting those like banners on the back part of the road course?
That's all flat, isn't it?
No, it's not. It is very not flat.
I'm pretty sure that's flat.
It is very not flat.
Okay.
But, I mean,
I'm thinking it's flat. Let us know in the chat or in the comments.
It is not flat.
Is it flat? I don't think it's flat. I think it's flat.
It's not.
I just about contradicted myself. I do think it's flat. I'm not Tyler. Either way.
Garth just thinks the world's flat.
Okay, yes. Garth's a flat earther confirmed, yeah. Oh boy.
Flat Earth Society has members around the globe.
Do they actually say that?
Yes. Oh my God. That was actually a thing that was posted on their website at one point. It was the Flat Earth Society has members around the globe.
Nice. And I'm sure they did not get the irony of that.
Why would you?
Right. Either way. Is that all you got for Open Wheel?
That's pretty much all I got.
Okay. Well, let's look at our picks from last week after your boy here picked a winner in every series. I extend my and that's the thing. Outside of Cup, you at least did well. Your guys finished like top 5 in truck and ARCA. Bubba didn't do so great, but ARCA, I extend my lead to 25, 207 and 182 over Tyler after Connor Mosak's win. Trucks, I have closed in now to 18, right? Am I doing that math right? 18, 297 and 278.
Like that. If I could do math, I wouldn't be working for the railroad.
Fair enough. And Cup, I extend my lead by a bunch after Bubba's not so great run and Larson's win. Now to 55, I believe. 333 to 278. Huh?
I'm a whole race behind.
You are.
Ouch.
You gotta work on your picks there. Get your Cup picks better. Get good, bruh. All right, picks for this week. We got a lot of picks for this week. We're gonna make ARCA East picks. We haven't been keeping track of points for East and West, but we're gonna make an ARCA East pick just for fun. Um, ARCA East will be at Nashville Fairgrounds this weekend, Saturday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Flow Racing. Tyler, who wins the Music City 150?
You can go with Gio Ruggiero. I mean, I think he's the best of the Toyota camp right now. William Swallow has been in kind of a slump recently, and you picked the guy that I would have picked otherwise. So
Fair enough. Um, I'm going to laugh because you originally picked Sawalich for this race. And then I made the comment that Ruggiero and Zilich have both been outrunning him lately. So you changed it to Ruggiero. I'm going to laugh when Sawalich actually wins this race.
yeah,
I,
probably.
though, am going to go with Connor Zilich. I think the 28 car goes 3 in a row in ARCA. Zilich won Dover. Mozak won Kansas. I think Zilich wins the third race in a row for the 28 car and his second race at Nashville. All right, on to the trucks. The Buckle Up South Carolina 200, Friday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Tyler, who buckles up the win Friday night?
I'm going to go with Stuart Friesen. I was looking at some past race results on Racing Reference, and I came up with a really cool statistic for this and my Xfinity pick, and I completely lost it. But one of them, the past 6 races at Darlington, they've had 4 top 5s, and the other one, the past 4 races, they've had 3 top 5s. I forget which one was which, but I'm looking at a lot of top 5s and a couple wins between these two drivers, and I'm picking for trucks and Xfinity, so I'm going to go on past history there.
Okay, fair enough. I kind of hope Stewart wins just because I really like his throwback.
That Jimmy Jam throwback.
Yeah, Jimmy Jam Power Pride. That looks really good on a truck. I like that a lot. So yeah,
Wish
I
the
hope
hood
he
was a
wins
little
just for
different.
the diecast.
Just for the diecast.
That's right.
Priorities, man.
I'm gonna go with Eckes. I stole your pick this week.
You did
Eckes has been
steal my
really
pick
good
this week.
at Darlington in the past. In fact, I believe won this race last year. I gotta go back and look, but I think he won this race last year. I know he won a Darlington race. No, it was this race because he was in his throwback.
Yep.
So yeah, Eckes won this race last year. I think he goes 2 years in a row. Kyle Busch is in the race, so I'm sure he's going to have some competition there. But I think Eckes takes home the throwback race 2 years in a row. Xfinity Saturday afternoon, 1:30 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Tyler, who wins the Crown Royal Purple Bag Project 200?
I'm going to go with Justin Allgaier. I referenced this as my trucks pick. I think Allgaier's the one that's had 4 top 5s in the last 6 races at Darlington. And he's got a win or 2 recently to boot with that. He's really good at Darlington, and he shows up pretty much every year running at the front. And sometimes he's got the finish for it, sometimes he doesn't. I think he'll get it this year.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to go with the guy that was 1 corner from winning last season until he have a flat tire and ended up riding the wall around 3 and 4 and still almost won.
Something like that.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Sheldon Creed. New team, better team. I think he finally gets that first win and shuts up all the haters, the Austin Hill fans, the 2 fans that Austin Hill has. I think Creed finally gets that first win this weekend in Darlington. On to the Cup Series, Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern on FS1, the Goodyear 400. Tyler, who wins on those Goodyears?
I think it's going to be Chase Elliott. He is really, really good at Darlington. He got his first Xfinity Series win was at Darlington, right?
I think so, yeah.
He's been very close to winning a couple times in the Cup Series. I don't think he's won in a Cup Series at Darlington yet, but I know past couple throwback weekend, he had the Jimmy Johnson throwback when Jimmy Johnson retired that year and got taken out by Truex at the end of the race, but was really fast in that race. I think he'll get it done this year, and he's got that really cool looking Dale Jr. throwback.
Yes, he does. I'm going to go, though, with what's probably an unpopular pick, but a guy that is very good at Darlington. I think Denny Hamlin picks up would that be win number 5 this season already, or is it 4?
God, barf.
Hang on. Is it? No, it would be number 4. He's only got 3 so far. I think Denny picks up win number 4 this weekend. He has been very good at Darlington in the past. I think he picks up another one this weekend. Takes home that Goodyear 400. I don't even know what his throwback is this weekend. Does he have a throwback?
I don't think he does.
Hang on. I gotta look this up.
Probably going to be the stupid Mavis tires and brakes car.
Probably.
I hate that car so much.
I don't think he does. I'm not seeing anything coming up when I Google it.
Don't worry, the auto owners, whatever, for Martin Truex Jr. finally did a throwback, and it's to like his 2016 championship car or some stupid.
Oh wow! I'm so
really
proud
throwing
of
it back there.
Yeah,
Iconic
right.
moments in NASCAR.
That's right.
The auto owner's car.
Yeah. IndyCar this weekend is Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern on NBC. The Sancio Grand Prix on the IMS road course. Tyler, who wins race number 1 of the month of May?
I think it's going to be Christian Lundgaard. He came very close the past couple times we raced on this track. He's one of those European-style drivers that does really good on flat European-style tracks, and that's exactly what this is. I think he's got a good shot. He's shown in the past that he's pretty good at this track, and he's been fast at other tracks this season already. I think he finally puts it all together for his second win in IndyCar.
All right, fair enough. I'm going to go with Will Power for no other reason than I think he's been good at this race in the past. I'm not even really sure. But
dude, he's won like 9 races at this track.
Okay, fair enough. So there we go. I knew I was picking a good one. Yeah, I think Will
either
Power
of the
picks up
Penske
another one.
drivers is a safe pick at this track.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, I'm going to go with Will Power. I think Will Power wins the Indy GP this weekend. No F1 this weekend. They'll be back, I believe, next weekend. All right, so I think that's going to be it for this week. A little bit of a short episode, but I think we still got everything covered. Enjoy Darlington Throwback Weekend. Enjoy the Indy GP. Enjoy Nashville Fairgrounds. And we will hopefully see you back next week. Same time, same place. I'm Garth. That's Tyler. This is the Rookie Stripes podcast on Racing News Now.